Coming up, before you know it, a brand new mayor in Denver. To find out who that's going to be and who it should be and what happened in the recent runoff. A couple of our old friends, well, not old. No, you're not old. You're
middle-aged.
No, you're not. You're young. I just said I've known you a while. Susan Greene from the Huffington Post, glad to have you. Glad to see you survived. Broke your leg in 5 places.
Yeah.
Good. I think an active sex life is important for every couple, so that's terrific. And from the Denver Post, Jeremy Meyer, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. So, any surprises in the mayor's runoff? Bring it over here. We had 9 candidates start out.
Well, starting out, I think there was like 18 at one point.
God.
But and then it got whittled down. 9 made the ballot. Actually, 10 made the ballot. Carol Boynton dropped out, so it was 9. And then it pretty much went by who made the most money in fundraising. That's who.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
Now, Mejia got very close to making it to the runoff.
He did.
How close did he get?
I think he was 3. Well, he was close. He was like 1 point away from making the runoff. He was 3 points away from the winner. So he got 26%. Romer got 28, and Hancock got 27%.
Interesting.
So it's
before we get into the runoff or the final one, any big thought of the 9 who were there? I mean, here is not you made a living for the last several years having fun with Mayor Hickenlooper, and they're all fighting for that honor to be Susan Greene's whipping boy. So who did you want to whip for the next 4 years?
Who did I vote for in the primary?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you who I voted for, but it was neither of the guys who won, let's put it that way. I think the big surprise of this race was the sort of nothingness of it. I mean, 9 people, everybody was sort of jonesing to want to support somebody and to be enthusiastic and to sort of rally behind their city. And, you know, I have an empty front lawn just waiting for a yard sign. I was just waiting to be inspired. And I think really it was just a major nothing burger of a primary race. And
was the last one when Hickenlooper ran against whatever 15 people did?
Yeah,
Was there some excitement back then?
There totally was. There was Aries Avaris and his, remember when he said, I don't have I have the thing about his degree, a pigskin on his wall instead of a sheepskin. He said a pigskin, and there was that whole issue about his whether he had a college degree or not. And you know, Aries Avaris was handpicked by Mayor Webb. He was the favorite, and he just tanked and got steamrolled by Hickenlooper.
Did Hickenlooper have a favorite in this? I didn't see
in this race. He hasn't.
Well, in the runoff first, I didn't see him bless anyone.
He has not officially blessed anyone. So
Unofficially, do you think?
I think there might be somebody.
All right.
I'm gonna let him say that.
Why did Romer and Hancock win? Purely by money?
Well, you know, coming into the primary, I thought actually about a month out, I thought it was going to be Romer Mejia, but towards the end, Mejia just kind of lost some steam. He really needed the Latino vote to come out. The Latino vote, based on surname, was about 13%, and he needed much more than that. Looks like he got all the precincts on the west side. Hancock got all the precincts in the northeast, and then Romer got the central. Romer got kind of the older voters. Republicans actually didn't vote too well in this race, apparently.
Why bother?
Well, yeah, they're all unaffiliated, but they're all Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, everybody running is a Democrat.
Right. And it's shades of Democrats. So, you know, Romer probably would be more of a Republican Democrat, and Hancock now more Democrat.
What's the big difference between these two? You got Hancock, you got Romer. One's a state legislator, one is a city councilman. What's the difference?
It's like Charmin and Cottonelle.
I love Cottonelle.
Really?
Charmin just falls apart and pills up. Cottonelle, I could sleep on it. So you're telling me that there's a big difference?
No, I'm saying it's all packaging. They're saying exactly the same thing. I think until today there was one sort of significant difference, and that was where they stood on the issue of whether there should be a safety manager or not. And now there's no difference because Romer has, according to the Post, pivoted. I would say flip-flopped. Yeah,
Pivoted.
Yeah, he's pivoted.
He's pivoted. He's pivoted. So you don't see any difference between these two? Much?
I mean, I think personally, interpersonally, there's a huge difference. You know, one.
Say it. Say it.
You know, I think Hancock has a really compelling personal story. He can engage in a conversation. He's a listener. I think Romer is a loose cannon and has some problems with sort of staying true to what he says he'll stay true to.
What is it exactly you're trying to tell us?
Well,
Are there any stronger words you want to use?
Yeah, I think Romer often talks out of both sides of his mouth. And I've experienced it personally, and I think a lot of people who have been dealing with him over the years have as well. I mean, he's pretty fast and loose with his words.
Well, the Denver Post reporter who will never take sides.
Right.
What's the difference between the two?
Well, one is comes from a financial. He's an investment banker, Romer. He's worked many municipal bond deals. He's very adept with the calculator. You have Michael Hancock, who's been in city government for a number of years. I think this is his third term, or he's been in for 8 years as a city councilman. He's been a city council president. They have different stories. I mean, like Susan said, they have different personal backgrounds. And I think maybe that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to what story you like.
You mentioned Romer as kind of the Republican-leaning Democrat. I was just at a Republican get-together, and a lot of the grassroots said, "Oh, we're voting for Hancock."
Really?
And I was
That's
like,
interesting.
Really? Why is
So
that?
Romer's-
And they said because of his last name. And they said, we know that this is only a stepping stone to become mayor or become governor, and we remember the last time, and we don't want to elect somebody just because of the name. Let's face it, you know, I don't know how long you've been around, but for those of us who've been around for a while, the Romer name still has a lot of cachet. Roy Romer was an incredibly powerful politician here, and a very skillful one as well.
This is not your father's Romer. You know, this is a guy brought up in a dynasty. He's the son. He's not, you know, Horatio Alger Hancock, who really did pull himself up by his bootstraps. I mean, this is someone who grew up with or came of age with, you know, a father who was a successful politician. And, you know, I would question, actually, I mean, have we not had enough of political dynasties in this day and age
you say that now, but my vote goes for Teddy Hickenlooper.
Oh.
I think there's a dynasty there waiting to be born. All right, so do you think the name is going to get Romer past the finish line? I mean, he seems to be the odds-on favorite.
I think it's anybody's ball game right now.
Well, with Mejia endorsing Romer, I would think.
I don't think endorsements. I don't know. We'll see, but I don't know if they really carry that much weight. I think if Hancock puts out a really good ad, people won't remember that. I mean, a lot of people don't know who James Mejia is. A lot of people do. I mean, the people who voted for him. I think they're right now, Hancock and Romer are going after the Latino vote. You saw it today. Romer stood up with a bunch of Latino leaders, and right as he did that, the Hancock campaign issued a press release saying that they've gotten the endorsement from Paul Sandoval. So there's just a real battle going on there. I think it's pretty interesting. It's going to get really good, I think.
Good being ugly.
It's
When
gonna get ugly.
a reporter says it's going to get good, that's key for it's going to get ugly.
The Romer campaign actually issued an ad today that's pretty
What does
brutal.
it say?
It's all about Hancock's vote on a pay raise for elected officials and how he voted for a pay raise in this time when we have a deficit. So
let me tell you, that knife is going to be able to cut both ways, because as a legislator and a senator, Romer's gone both ways on a lot of different issues. He's hacked off a lot of his own party in a lot of those votes, and I can imagine the opposition research right now is going through a lot of journals at the Capitol.
Right. I think when you talk about it's going to get good, what would be good is if they started talking about real issues.
Right.
And, you know, let's be clear, 112,000 people voted among, you know, among 9 candidates.
Yeah.
I mean, what would be good is if
Actually,
voters
that's a seventh of the population. It's actually pretty high for
it's
primary.
38% turnout, which is historically, you know, it's unprecedented. It's very low. And
However, in 2003, it was 114,000.
right, but
So
it was the percentage was higher. Our population is higher, so the percentage of
Why does
turnout
Denver
was
have
higher
these
last time.
ridiculous? One, the runoff vote is just kind of weird to me, and then the other part of doing it in the middle of the summer, having what is a June 7th election. Who came up with this? Why can't we just do it on the general election day when most towns and cities do theirs?
I don't know. Do you know that?
No, I think it's great. You know,
Why is it great?
I think it's great because actually there was a real opportunity to discuss our city. There was this pathetic quote in the newspaper the other day when talking about the 38% voter turnout and how low it was, and pollster Floyd Cerulli said, people have to feel like there's something at stake here, and I don't think any of these 9 candidates really convinced Denver that, you know, it's any more than branding. It's any more than Cottonelle versus Charmin. I mean,
I'm telling you, there is a
something
difference.
at stake. There is. You
I
know
will
what?
send you a box of
The
Charmin
difference
and
was-
Cottonelle. You try them both for a week, one in the morning, one in the evening, and you tell me.
The difference is they should really start talking about something real.
Notice how she ignores me so well.
Yeah.
That's years of friendship
When's
right
the last
there.
time you bought toilet paper?
I use the Denver Post.
Oh. You
Thank
can't
you.
use
Thank you.
Huffington Post.
Yeah, that's true. You can't even line your bird cage with Huffington Post. All right, what do we expect here? In the last few minutes, what explosions are going to happen? Will there be a personal fight? Will there be the DUI? Will there be some great foot in the mouth quote from Romer that comes out? You hope so?
Well,
what do you expect?
you know, as journalists, you always kind of like those moments. You were just talking about the pigskin. You know, that you love that kind of makes it more interesting. But on the issues, they're so similar right now. I mean, they really are, and they have to, you know, diverge from that. And one way they're doing it is by looking at personal issues and some statements.
Is part of it that they're following some big shoes? And I know you weren't a big Hickenlooper fan, but this was one popular mayor. He had that quirky style that people seem to identify with. He seemed pro-business, even though he raised taxes and debt. Remarkably, he was able to, he's a little bit of an ink blot test. People see what they want to see in him, and he's a likable guy. So this election seems like a bit of a letdown, given the force of personality in the past.
And Hickenlooper harnessed something in the city. The city was coming off of 12 years of Wellington Webb.
Cronyism.
Your word, not mine.
You get a better word for it?
He galvanized younger voters, the whole sort of, you know how everyone in Denver seems to be a marketer. Everybody's a marketer, and so he's a marketer. You know, I mean, he sort of harnessed the Vespa riding, you know, beer drinking, microbrewery crowd, and I don't think Romer or Hancock have really harnessed a ton of energy here. But if you want to talk about energy, it's clearly Hancock who has been gaining momentum in terms of galvanizing people, I think.
Who's going to win?
And Romer plateaued, I think.
10 seconds left. Who's going to win?
Hancock.
Hancock's going to win? Who's going to win?
It's anybody's ball game.
That's a nice reporter way of doing it.
I can't say that.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
All
it'll
right.
be fun.
Jeremy, thank you. Susan, as always, thank you. And thank you. Check out the Independence Institute at independenceinstitute.org. Listen for me late nights on 850 KOA. Tell a friend. We'll see you next week.